In this video I'm going to show you guys how I make my bases. So what I've got, just got my base up here, a couple bits from my bits bag, which is this. And what I've got in here are basically offcuts of plastic, bits of wires, broken stuff, broken plastic offcuts, some GW bits, and anything else that looks interesting. And some Citadel skulls. There's a couple of Citadel skulls in there. So I'm going to show you guys how I build my bases in this video. So basically what I'm going to start with is obviously dry. I've already come up with an idea for the pose of this model, but I'm going to start by dry testing a pose here. I kind of want him to sit. Let's realize my camera's down here. I kind of want him to sit really nice like that. That's how I want him to sit. Kind of dramatic pose on the rock. So I'm going to pose the rock there. So I've got sprue goo. It's going to come in handy because all these bits are plastic. So sprue goo on the bottom. Very nice. Boom. Get that bit in place there. And then this bit, see how it sits on top. Maybe forward a tiny bit. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. And now we can sit on that tactical rock. Oh, okay, he's not glued because painting, he's not glued, but he should just sit like that. Alright, and then the other part I'm going to do is I'm going to test his posing again. With a tiny bit of plastic. Also, all these are plastic offcuts, they're quite easy to use. But I'm just going to sprue goo on the back here. Just going to sit just like that. That could be a bit of ruined terrain. And then we're going to have the wire. So this is a DW cable. Don't know what kit's off, but it's any cable I think you can use. Don't need to use this one specifically. See how it sits? It sits a lot like that. It sits quite well actually. So put some sprue goo over here. A tiny bit onto the front bit of this wire here. And this is just going to sit nice and snug along here. Let's see if the posing still works. Yes it does, it should. Right, there you go, so he can still sit on top of that. You see how he still sits on top of that tactical rock? He's obviously not glued in yet, but he just sits on top of the tactical rock like that. Okay, cool. And now I do want to add a tiny, if you want to add a tiny bit of additional details, what I normally tend to do is get a little Citadel skull. I'm going to go for a shoulder pad on this one, and I've just got an empty space here. So sprue goo it up. Oh, don't worry, I'm going to go over this texture paste after. This is just the initial steps. So I'm going to place a shoulder pad right there, and a skull in front of that. Little skull right in front of that gap. There you go, so this guy's kind of slightly encircled by the... But look, that's going to sit quite well. Alternatively, you can use a gun. But I've gone with a skull here because I'm going to be texture pasting the rest of this thing. So there's no reason not for me not to. Right, and then this guy's going to... He's going to sit like that, but really this is just to show the base, but more the process of how I do it. I think this needs a bit more sprue goo to sit like naturally, so I'm just going to reapply a bit more. That's a bit too much, but I'll take it back with one of these because you stab this along the edge and it should take it back. There you go. So that all covered in texture paste in the end anyway, so you won't notice that.
After this bit I went on to the texture pasting step, so I started putting it down all around the thing we'd already built up before, all around our little details, just to give it that additional additional textures and details that it was missing. And also, some was basically covering up all the bits where the sprue glue had spread out or it didn't look the most natural. And this has definitely helped with the end appearance of the model. And this step does take a while, guys, but the most important thing to get from this is probably for you to make use of, at least, or start collecting bits or offcuts, those kind of things, for bases, because that's probably the best idea. Because I didn't start collecting bits for bases or like from kits to use on bases till quite recently. But after this step, you're basically done with it. This is meant to be like a wasteland, urban wasteland base. I've been using all these bases for my heresy models. So if you want to follow my journey on there, I will be releasing a video for the little guy you saw, how I built him. I've got all the content recorded for that. That should be coming out soon. But pretty much, I'm inspired by quite a few conversion stuff, and I think you should be inspired by those kind of things too, if you're into converting models of your own and stuff. So feel free to take inspiration from my builds. My bases aren't that complex, just requires super glue or plastic glue or whatever you've got really. And I do tend to use a lot of wires, old like wires in my base builds because they're so helpful. Just like I think if you have broken headphones or something, and the wires like break on it, you just cut them off and use them. But in the end here, I just had to leave it to dry for a bit. And then after that's dried, you leave it overnight for like 12, I think, believe it. It's better to leave it overnight, this texture paste, but it depends on which texture paste you're using. You could be using a different one, which probably would work the same way, but this is just the Games Workshop Agril Earth texture paste that I've been putting on the entire time. And don't worry about overspill with the texture paste either, because we're going to go over and spray prime and paint it afterwards. I've just ignored those steps on this, but just paint over. You're going to spray over most of the base anyway, because I made mine purple because it goes with black, because it goes with the Dark Angels color scheme. But you can make your bases any color you want, so no one's going to stop you using just a Grad on Earth or just dirt kind of colors. You can get a lot out of just building your bases the way you want to build them. I think that's a great part about this hobby. You can personalize all your models to whoever you want them, which I do. I did do a lot. I personalized the whole 10-man unit and to build them up with my for the Dark Angels tactical squad for Heresy. I just finished those like today, pretty much as of recording. But I'm not gonna. I don't think I'll be making any painting videos on them just yet. I'll be making one for power swords definitely because I see no reason not to. But all the other ones I kind of won't probably cover because it's a 10-man unit, so you're basically the same painting technique I used on my Praetor model. So it's mostly covered already. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm gonna probably end it there. After finishing this step, I just left it to dry completely. So it's basically done after this point. But thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed watching the video, and please consider liking and subscribing as it greatly helps me out. Alright, thank you very much. See you guys. Bye bye.